Go away. No one's home. Professor? I thought everyone went to Remire Village for a mission. I mean, no, I don't know anything about any missions. I'm not avoiding battles. I don't know anything. I'm asleep. That's right. Sleep talking. No Bernie's here. Wait. Shouldn't you be in Remire Village? Who's leading our class? Really? So even you have weaknesses. I mean, I heard you'd been looking a little pale this month, but I thought maybe those were just rumors. How could someone as strong and impressive as you be affected by something like a flu? Oh, it's pouring, and you can't get in your room if you dropped your keys somewhere. You can't stay out in the rain if you're sick. They sent you home early to rest. Okay. Do you promise you're out there alone? No snipers waiting in the wings the minute I open this door? I'm trusting you here. You really are soaked. Hang on, I have some towels here. Let me help. This is just another reason never to go outside. I haven't caught a cold since I was 7 years old. You have to go outside and go near people to get sick. There. At least your hair isn't dripping anymore. I can get another towel for the floor. Your jacket is soaked through, though. Oh, Professor, you've got a big tear here in your sleeve. No, I know it's supposed to open up around the elbows. That's the style. I mean here. This slash. From an arrow? Are you bleeding? Professor, are you hurt? Did you get hurt in battle? Oh, no. I don't know any faith magic. Are you sure? Really sure? Not even a scratch? You might not know. Sometimes the shock sets in too fast and you can't even feel it. I've read in lots of stories where first-hand experience. So you mean you've been shot before? Stop, I can't take it. That's too scary. I know you were a mercenary, but you're way too casual about that kind of thing. I guess you would know if you were hurt then, but let's at least stitch this up. I know I'm a terrible seamstress, but it'll at least keep the tear from spreading. Okay, let me get my pins and... you didn't have to take it off. Oh, well, yeah, but I could have reached well enough with it still on you. No, it's fine. I'll just... Here, you can sit in this chair. I'll sit on my bed. What? No, I'm terrible. My stitches are all uneven and the tension's never right. Really, I'll never be marriageable like this. Well, maybe you wouldn't know, being a mercenary. It's different for commoners. You don't have to think about crests and heirs and all those politics. My father used to train me every day to be the perfect wife. He'd have me sit there in silence for hours. I hated it. But sometimes he'd let me sew or embroider while I sat, even though he'd yell at me when my stitches were always sloppy and crooked. Having something to do was nice. I did. Once I realized I could use my sewing skills to make stuffed toys and dolls, I just couldn't stop. They make the perfect friends. They don't talk or judge you. They're always there when you need them, and if you have enough, you can even hide in a pile of them, and no one will know you're there. I love stuffed toys. They do. You're not making fun of me, are you? Oh, you must think they're dumb. Of course you do. It's childish to have all these toys in your room, Bernie, let alone name them. No, you looked into my story journal, didn't you? You know about all the stories I wrote about them? That's so embarrassing. Oh, Professor, don't lie to me. Please, just let me sink into the floor and disappear forever. I finished your jacket. You can just let me fade away from existence now. You really don't think it's immature? What? No, I can't read one. I refuse. You can't make me. My grade? That's low. You wouldn't... Oh no, you would. But they're not edited. They're just stream of consciousness writing. No good at all. No, don't hand me a pen. Okay. Just let me make some edits, please. And don't laugh. one needs a picture too. Oh, they're not gonna be looking. I don't like color here. Alright, I'm ready. This one's about the doll there on the window ledge, and the bird beside her. Once upon a time, a little girl was forced to serve two masters. One was a butcher who lived at the top of a wooded hill, while the other was the girl's father, a merchant who lived at the hill's base. Every morning, the merchant in the house at the bottom of the hill would send the girl out into the woods with nothing but a basket packed full of spoiled meat. You must clear the woods for the butcher, he'd say. Take the meat that didn't sell and run up and down the path until all the wolves give chase. You must lead them all away from the main path so the butcher can send his fresh cuts down to be sold at the market. The girl was terrified of the woods that lived in the forest, with their sharp fangs and hungry eyes. But even more terrifying was her father. So every morning, she accepted the foul basket and went out into the cold, dark woods. Usually, she was quite quick and good at climbing trees before the wolves could catch her. But one day, she tripped over a fallen branch and spilled her basket all over the forest floor. The wolves were close, already snapping at her heels before she tripped, and she knew this was it. But just before those drooling jaws snapped down on her throat, a beautiful mockingbird swooped down between them and screeched at the hungry hounds. The wolves were so startled, they stumbled back, and the girl was able to get to her feet. "Thank you," she cried, but the mockingbird turned around and squawked at her as well. "Run," he seemed to cry. "Go, before they strike again." The girl was too afraid to do anything else, so she ran all the way up the hill and told the butcher everything that happened. The butcher was most displeased. He demanded she march back into the woods and scavenge up any scraps of meat the wolves hadn't finished off, so the path would be clear for him to sell his wares. On shaking legs, the girl made her way back to the place where she'd been saved. Scattered all across the ground were all the rotten steaks her father had sent her out with that morning. The wolves hadn't eaten a single scrap of the foul meat. But all around the clearing, little feathers clung to the leaves and twigs. Neither the wolves nor the mockingbird were anywhere to be seen. The end. Sad? Well, yeah. Most fairy tales are scary or sad. They're usually warnings, right? Don't wander off on your own. Don't trust strangers. Don't make friends with commoners or you'll hurt them. It's not based on anything, just a story. I told you I shouldn't have read it. Oh goodness, Professor, you really are looking pale. Why don't you lay down in my bed for now? At least until the storm passes. Once it's warm and dry outside again, we can look for your key. Or you can look for your key. And who knows, maybe Professor Manuela will be back by then. She can look you over and give you any medicine you need. Here, I have a spare blanket. It's thicker. No, I don't mind. I'll just work on my stories while you rest. I usually stay up late anyway. Come lay down. There you go. Sleep well, Professor. I'll be here when you wake up.